Hey everyone, welcome to Founders 365 with me, Steven Haggerty. Today, I am joined by John Vuong, founder of Local SEO Search.com.ca. He's based out in Canada. How are you, John?
I'm doing fabulous. Thanks a lot for having me, Steven.
No, thank you for coming on. Super excited to chat to you, pick your brains, and I'm sure we will uncover some myths and create the dispute that SEO seems to create whenever I chat about it on these podcasts. So thank you for being the next victim of SEO. Let's put it that way.
Perfect.
Great. So first and foremost, let's jump straight into it. Just tell me about yourself, man. Tell me about who you are, how you started the business, and then we can go from there.
Oh, definitely. So 7 years ago, so in 2013, I started this company, not knowing how the company is going to go, right? So I was bootstrapping. I left a fairly large company. I'm sure in the UK it's similar. It's called the Yellow Pages, which printed directory going into every single physical home, apartment building, store, restaurant. But they also had that online space of yellowpages.ca in Canada, but it could have been .co.uk, etc. So I was there for over 5 years. And at that time, near the end of it, I was very frustrated because a lot of those clients I was dealing with just was spending a lot of money, not getting good return on their investment. They were frustrated, and they kind of knew that there was a change, a trend that was happening, and a lot more people were going digital. They didn't understand the space, but they knew that they had to dabble into it and venture and see what it was all about, right? Because no longer was it the go-to place in medium where people would find business owners. So that's where I kind of understood that there was a demand, a need, and I had to create that where I had sales and marketing experience, and I was doing that for 10, 15 years prior to starting this company. So when I started, I reached out to some of my old clients, let them know what I was doing, and asked them, would you be interested if I started my company, try to figure it out, give you a good offer, and kind of help you? And that's how I grew the company. So that was, for me, I knew there was a need and demand. I just had to figure out how to do it. So I had to get my hands dirty, figure out like all the technical aspects, hire great people, some of them more technical than myself, because I was very strong in the front end customer service sales end of things. But I also had to understand the back end too.
Of course. Was this your first venture?
Yes, definitely.
Amazing.
So for me, it is still my first one. I'm dabbling into multiple more side hustles at this time. I'm big into real estate investing as well. But I love just the entrepreneurial journey, meeting a lot of business owners and just helping them, really.
Yeah. I mean, the SEO space has changed drastically over the last 7 years that you've seen it, from I guess those businesses that relied on the Yellow Pages. In the UK, when we had Yellow Pages, they were probably like that thick, delivered to your door. And now when you see them, they're like a centimeter thick. The world has changed. How have you seen and dealt with that change over time and the difference in clients that you've had?
Yeah, so what I've always positioned myself as is SEO is more of a long-term game and strategy. So if you're looking at advertising and you're looking for quick sales, like you have a product or you have a special promo, great, go do newspaper flyers, brochures, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Google ads, right? Amazon ads, whatever it is, advertise. But if you want to be the expert, the authoritative figure in your category, vertical niche in your local market, or be known for something, an expert, that's what SEO can do, right? Where we help business owners, which usually are professionals, make a name for themselves, brand themselves, and let the general public, because right now people are in front of a computer more so than ever, right? Especially during this pandemic, people are spending way more hours in front of a computer doing searches. And yes, there's different platforms out there, but Google seems to have been the dominant search engine over the years. There's Bing, there's Yahoo, and then of course there's social media, there's YouTube for videos, there's podcasts, there's so many different mediums, right? But when someone's interested in buying a product service, or depending on where they're at in terms of their buying cycle, it could be pre-buying cycle, like information based, versus when they're ready to buy, like their ready intent is really close to buying, they're still going to go into Google and decide, right? And it's really just keywords. So how are you getting in front of those active buyers versus, you know, pushing stuff at people, which are ads? And more people are more savvy today than ever. So they realize that, you know, I want to be in control. So I'm going to skip those ads and I'm going to look on the map or below the map, right? And if I can't find someone there, then I probably will re-type it in, or they're not relevant enough or authoritative enough in Google's eyes. And therefore, I'm not going to reach out to them.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you think you touched on a really amazing point there in terms of, you know, the paid ads versus SEO, more long-term strategy? Because of recent times and marketing is so like sexy now, and the next big like e-commerce site, or for example, is being sold to, do you think people actually have the patience for that long-term strategy, that SEO strategy now?
So that's one thing that I loved about coming from Yellow Pages, which is I dealt with a lot of established business owners that understood that business takes time. It's not like a 1 to 5 year, let's try it, let's play with it. And the problem with social media today is there's so many things that are quick. People are trying to sell you get rich quick.
Get rich quick.
Yes. Like you can make 100 grand in a week or in a month, right?
Yeah.
None of that happens.
Exactly.
Reality
the next
is
ad secret, all of
exactly. All that, it's like the next stock market secret, right? Like traders, real estate, everyone's trying to get money quickly.
Yeah.
Life is a journey. Business is a journey. If you're in it for the long term, and I always relate it to real estate as well, right? So if you're looking at buying a home or a flat in London, you have to save money. You're not just going to get a windfall of, you know, money from a lottery ticket or something, right?
Yeah.
So you have to work for it. Every paycheck, you put savings back, and hopefully you have enough for a down payment, and then you start you know, building a home, an asset, right? Very similar to SEO. It's not going to happen overnight. You start putting money away, investing into creating great content, building your influence, getting some backlinks, getting exposure in the marketplace. And eventually Google will pick that up and recognize that you're doing everything that is right, and you are becoming the expert and then that leader in that domain. And they're going to eventually give you enough value where then you earn that space.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. In your journey as well over the last 7 years, have you changed your approach to business, or has it always been the same in terms of those building your core seems to be, you know, build the relationships, get to know your customers, which is fantastic. But the actual approach in terms of how you deliver that business and how you deliver the end result, has that changed much over time, or is it fairly stable for you?
Yeah, so we're always pivoting and learning and making changes on a regular basis, month to month, weekly, actually. So every campaign is unique because we deal with so many different verticals. We don't specialize just on dentists or plumbers or lawyers, right? We're a small, medium-sized business or B2B kind of space, right? Where they want to be experts in their domain. And because in the Yellow Pages space, I know more about business owners because I've worked with over 5,000 local business owners. So that alone, we have a lot of business experience and knowledge, right? That we can actually enhance and help business owners run more effective, profit-driven businesses, right?
Amazing.
So understanding that and giving value by pivoting all the time. And yes, Google is always changing their algorithm, right? And local
said it, the famous A word.
Their algorithm, yeah. So, you know, what's important? Mobile is becoming way more important today. So you need to increase your speed, make sure there's less bounce rate. You know, the click-through rate is still very important. Links are still very important. Just getting your exposure out there in the marketplace, right? Focus on running a good business. And what I try to do is help businesses who are doing bricks and mortar or doesn't really understand the digital replicate what they've been doing very well digitally so that they don't have to worry, because it's a new language altogether for a lot of people, right? And a lot of people just don't want to know. They just want to continue doing what they're good at, which is running their business or that specific niche of what they do, right? Tree service, pest service. They are experts in that. I don't want to take care of this thing, marketing, if I don't even know anything about it.
Do you think business owners should learn about it a little bit though?
Yes, for
They should
sure.
understand it.
So I'm all about education.
Great.
I'm all about letting people make their own decisions, but ultimately informed decisions, just like health, just like life in general, right? Like relationships, business, everything should be, you should have equip yourself with information enough so you're asking the right questions with the right vendors, so you sound like you're not taking advantage of, or you're not being taken to school, kind of thing, right?
And they must really appreciate that from you.
Well, for me, it's all about letting, equipping them with all the information, knowledge, and some, some links for them to read, and then hopefully they appreciate that you actually care, right? When they see that you're not selling, but you want to actually partner with them. And that's what SEO is about, right? It's all relationships, because if we didn't have a long-term relationship, why would I want to even do a one quick thing for them? Like, that's a product sale. I'm all about long-term, making sure that they stay on Google for a very long time, grow together with them, gain more exposure, but ultimately generate more revenue and sales, right?
All the good stuff.
Exactly. The most important things.
Exactly. And I mean, you're doing something right, because you guys have been going for 7 years, and that's like tremendous effort. So well done on that. How have you felt? I know it was a long time ago, 7 years, but from going from that sort of employee mentality to that business owner and business growth, finding your own clients, going, basically it's all on your shoulders. How have you felt becoming that sort of person and becoming that business owner?
A huge learning curve. So yes, I've made a lot of mistakes. I made a lot of bad hires. I've worked crazy hours. It was very stressful, as you can see. But I mean, it's the most rewarding thing that you could ever encounter in your business journey, right? Like, if you had a choice to work for someone or try to do it yourself, I would say take that risk. But it's not for everyone, because if you're not the type that is willing to make mistakes, hit down and, plug through and hopefully get up every time you get down, like, there's so many things that will bring people down, like working by yourself, going out and doing sales when you don't even know about sales, or doing the customer service and then really promising, or I'm all about under promise, over deliver. Like, my background has always been sales and marketing, and I really had to learn the dev and technical space a little bit to really understand this whole digital space, right? So, like, I love what I do, or else I wouldn't be doing it, right? And you have to be passionate. You have to have goals. You have to have same core values, right? So getting into business is one step, but actually being successful is another step, right? And what is success for people, right? Is it ensuring that you have a stable income, or is it so that you're hiring people that now you're taking care of your staff? And that's a big, huge, different step in your business, right? Like, my purpose in life now is to impact as many people, from clients to my customers to my staff, right? And taking care of them, ensuring that they have good, their necessities, daily life, savings, but they can actually do stuff with their money, right? And live, right? So this is what I'm pushing to now, like, versus when I first started, which was taking care of my own life purposes, right? Now it's trying to spread that over to more being an impact and influence to others.
How do you deal with things when they aren't going the right way? Then when things are, you mentioned those down points, when things are going down, and I think it's, no matter what level we get to in life, there's still going to be dips. I think there's that fairy tale image of when you achieve XYZ, life is complete or life is perfect. And unfortunately, that's not the way.
Yeah.
So,
So,
over the last 7 years, you've obviously had some dips and some really great highs. But let's talk about more so in recent years where you've learned from a lot of those. How do you deal with the dips now, even though you've leveled up?
so yeah, like every year there's always something,
Yeah.
right, that happens. Either staff leaving or
Like
clients that
global
leave.
epidemic.
Yeah, like people are swayed by that extra $5,000 a year, right? Or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
So you just have to live with it and build redundancies in place, right?
Mhm.
So what is the backup plan? How can you ensure that it doesn't happen again? How do you mitigate it and reinforce and really improve on your processes, take care of your people, treat them well, value them, and really ensure that we have. So I'm in very close touch with every team member. I'm very open to all my staff, and
Yeah.
I let them, like, it's like a communication dialogue, right? It's not an employee boss relationship. I'm like peers to a lot of people, right? And it's like a flat line hierarchy
Mhm.
where they feel like I am a colleague to everyone, right? And that's what I want, because end of the day, we are all equal. We are humans, especially during this crisis. Everyone is equal, right? You need shelter, you need basic necessities, and as long as you have income coming in, that's, this is what life is about, right? The people that you love, to stay close to them, the core, right? And if you have a job that can continue to maintain that, that's a bonus, right? But a lot of
Yeah.
people are losing their jobs right now. And, for me, I reassure them that business is good. I let them know, like, we're taking on new clients still, and things are in the up and up, right? Because we are about long term. We're not in
Mm.
the short term space. This pandemic has never happened to anyone, and it may never happen again in any of our lifetimes, right? But it is happening today. So how
Yeah.
can you, remedy it, and how can you be more optimistic and stay positive and do things so that you don't have to worry in the long term? So we built different things so that we can ensure that we can get through this time,
Yeah.
right?
Did you because that's such a great ethos to live by, and just especially in times like this, when it all kicked off with this crisis, did you have clients call you up and be like, "Hey, John, what do we do? Do we press pause on everything or
Yeah.
what?"
Yeah, definitely. We had about 10% of our clients pause the campaigns. I spoke to every single one of them, and it was fine. Like, I understood where they're coming from.
Yeah.
I'm human as well, and everyone has different thresholds, right? And I just advise them it might not be the best situation to pause their campaign, because what we're doing is to build authority, because it's just a matter of time that things will pick up again.
For
But
sure.
for a lot of business owners, they might see it as they might not be in business
Mm.
after this, right?
Yeah.
Where I'm in the scope of how do we ensure that we pick it up way better when things get better, right?
Exactly.
So again, it's mindset, and it's all depends on the business owner, right? And it all depends on the industry. So a lot of the restaurant type catering kind of businesses, they're hit really hard, travel, tourism, right?
Yeah.
So but there's other businesses that that it's just a matter of time, right? That things will get back to normal. So
Yeah.
you have to be a person, a human, right? And respect their choice, but also let them know, like, we want to help. We want to
Mm.
ensure that you get through this. And I advise them, like, we'll continue doing stuff for you, but maybe not to the full extent. But
Yeah.
we'll pause your campaign. That's fine.
Which
Because
comes
I
back to your
know.
values.
Exactly. We want to help. We want to give, right? And if they see that in you, they're going to be way strong of a partner for many, many years to come, right?
Yeah, exactly. For you, how do you think this situation right now is going to change your business for either, I'm guessing for the better from what we've just said, but how are you predicting the change in your business? And actually, let's just talk about business in general, because I think we were chatting just before we went live, and it's really going to show a lot of businesses how, one, what they're doing badly, and two, what others are doing really well that they can learn from. So how do you think things are going to change?
Yeah. So what we were doing leading up to this crisis, and it did take 2 years, but the key is owning your database, owning your list
Yeah.
of customers, and ensuring that you have constant communication with them, and letting them know that you're there for them, no matter good or bad or any situation, right?
Mm.
So building that core relationship. So it all boils down to that, right? And then during these times, like unfortunate times, you have to have a mechanism where you can have some sort of recurring business model, maintenance contracts or month to month or something that is more long term. Because if you are selling products, right, where it's a one time thing and
Mm-hmm.
it's going to dry up, like right now, people aren't spending any money. They're at home unless you're a retail store, a grocery store or a pharmacy,
Amazon are
right?
probably doing just fine.
Exactly. But most small business owners, like they have retail space and
Yeah.
it's shut and you got to pay rents and you have to figure out if you want to pay your employees or not, right? Can you digitalize it? Is there an online platform that you can actually do house calls digitally?
Mm.
Figure out other ways so that don't rely on one medium or one channel to get your message across,
Yeah.
right? So we have so many different mediums. Like, yes, search engine is the main medium where we get a lot of leads, but we also have podcasts. We have our own show. We're doing a lot of webinars. We do email marketing. We do a lot of events as well. So just getting out there in front of people that might still be looking, because it's a great opportunity. I always am very optimistic, right? Because whenever the people are closing shop or shutting down or scared, there's always going to be opportunity. So right now we're hiring more than
Mm-hmm.
ever because there's great talent to be had, right?
Yeah.
We're doubling our efforts for a lot of campaigns because you can negotiate more on
For sure.
things, right?
And I
So
guess there's so many people that are doing that shutting shop that it gives your clients more opportunity to push further so they can almost get ahead of that tide when things
exactly.
do start opening up again. Let's put it that way.
Exactly. And so many companies are hurting for revenue, right? So when you are in a good situation, and I was able to save 6 months as cash flow, like
Mm.
these are all redundancies I put in place over the years, right?
Yeah.
And I've learned as a business owner what needs to be done to endure a long stretch of negative growth or whatever it may be, right? So it's all about just setting yourself up and your business so that when things happen, you're going to be okay. Like,
Yeah.
and that's why I reassure all my staff, like, not only are we doing better than ever, we're taking on new clients, we're busy, and a lot of business owners aren't, right? And it's because I've planned it. I've
Mm.
kind of been working on it for many, many years, right?
Exactly. You touched upon something really amazing, really key there for me, I think, in terms of the word data, right? And this is a word that I think majority of people probably don't fully understand, but has just the potential to transform so many businesses if it's done right. Do you think, in terms of that word data, that more businesses should be using strategies to, own their lists, own email lists, own their platforms, move away from, I don't know, the Wix and the probably not WordPress, but those drag and drop platforms that you can see, and bringing it in more in house for them?
Yeah. So what I mean by data is, especially for a lot of business owners that have been doing it for so many years, they have the contact information, right?
Yeah.
Telephone number, address, email list, telephone number, right? So all that data should be owned, but what are you doing with it? Are you
Hmm.
constantly updating or contacting your people with information? Right? Newsletter, social media updates, emailing them with some of the new product services, something going on with your office, right? Are you in the press? Are you writing new content? How are you positioning yourself? Like, there's so much information that you can update people with, that you should utilize your list because they are already active clients of yours. They
Yeah.
trust you. They're spending money with you. So all you have to do is plug in, say, we're now looking for new customers. If you have anyone in mind, we'll give you something, right? We'll
Yeah.
give you 10% discount or whatever it may be. It doesn't have to be money up front. It could be a discount. And it's all about like just leveraging. And what I look at digital, owning your data and list, is similar to word of mouth advertising before. bricks and mortar, people who did a really good job on, I relied strictly on referrals and word of mouth. Well, right now, that's pretty much the digital space. How do you get word of mouth advertising? It's really that list. You email blast, you do a social media, message across all the people that follow you, like you, or whatever. It's all about just pushing some content. Don't overload them, of course, and don't
There's
continue
that
selling.
fine line, isn't there, between communicating in the correct way and just overwhelming yourself and your clients or customers.
Exactly. You don't want them to unsubscribe to you, right?
No.
So there's a fine line, and personalize as much as possible. Make sure that they feel like you actually care. You're in it with them, and you're not there just to sell them, because people hate being sold, right? But if they feel like you actually want to take care of them during this time, and personalize every message. So the more personalized it is, the longer the relationship will go.
It's a weird world, though, isn't it? Because people hate being sold to, but people love buying.
Yes.
So
but they want to be in control, though, right?
Yeah, exactly. They want to have that buying decision. They don't want to feel like that buying position is forced upon them.
So that's the thing about SEO, right? Because you're in control. You're not being sold to or pushed ads at, right? And that's very similar to what Yellow Pages did very well, right? You're in control. So that's the difference between natural, and it was called directive advertising versus creative, which is pushing ads at people, like the billboards, display ads, Instagram ads, Facebook ads, versus just letting people decide.
Yeah,
right.
That's such a good way to put it. And actually, I don't think I've ever heard SEO described in that way, but it perfectly sums it up and just makes it so logical to say, like, look, let's give your customers the control, but maybe we're guiding that control a little bit.
Exactly. And there's a lot of, psychological things like get more reviews, get more case studies, white paper, video testimonials, stuff that as a business owner, you understand, because when you're searching for a product or service, you're doing yourself. So you need to set your business up for that. Right.
Exactly. John, listen, my final question, or second to final question, is one that I ask everyone. If you could give 3 tips to a fellow business owner that wants to be seen online better in that long-term strategy that we spoke about, what are some simple things they can be doing, perhaps even during this downtime? Because let's face it, people have a little bit more time. So what are some things that they can be doing to help them position themselves better online?
Yeah. So the first thing I would advise you to do is learn a little bit about what SEO can do for a business, right? There's tons of webinars, YouTube videos, check out sites and educate yourself so that you don't, go with a wrong company, or you don't know what you're talking about, right? So educate yourself a little bit about SEO. Then, of course, if you have a website and you've kind of dabbled in the advertising SEO before, start creating content that is positioning yourself as the expert, right? So continuously write blogs, but understand that you don't want to sell people stuff, but educate people, because you're at a different level than your users, right? Your prospects. So you have to write to them as opposed to write to yourself. Right. And then understand who your real customers are. Like if you've been in business for a long time, who is your unique, your ideal customer, right? Create that persona, buyer persona, and then try to cater your messaging to that ideal customer so that you can weed out the people that aren't really your ideal customer and just focus on your ideal customer. Right. So content creation is great. And then it gives you a chance to own your list, right? So if you've been in business for a long time, you haven't started an email blast or social media newsletter or updating your blogs, just constantly do that as a making sure that it's a part of your routine, right? And it becomes a habit. After you do it on a weekly basis, submit a 1 hour, dedicate an hour to just do that every day, every week. That allows you to just keep that habit going when things get back to normal. Right.
Perfect. John, listen, thank you so much for coming on. I've really valued your time. If anyone wants to get in touch with you, speak to you more about SEO, speak to you how you can help them, what's the best way for them to contact you?
Yeah, definitely. So you can reach our website. It's at www.localseosearch.ca. So that's the company that I own. If you go into team tab, you could actually look at my bio. I'm John Vuong, and you could actually look at the LinkedIn page, and you can add me. And if you want to have a conversation, have any questions, I'm delighted to help. I'm all about giving and helping business owners. So if you have any questions regarding how to start it or what to do in terms of advertising, marketing, getting new customers, we can definitely venture into that and have a discussion.
Perfect. And you have your own podcast, right?
Yes, we do. We also have a podcast called Local SEO Today. And on that podcast, we help educate business owners on, from my journey and my experience on best practices, how to get through certain situations, and, shrink time, really, because the big thing about working with a professional or someone that has experiences, they want to help impact your situation, right? By making sure that you don't make as many of those mistakes.
Exactly. John, listen, thank you so much for coming on. Really valued your time and your knowledge. And I feel like if you don't know about it, it's not worth knowing. I feel like that's the vibe I get from you.
Exactly. Well, stay safe. I know it's a lot of stuff going on right now in the world. And ultimately, just stay positive, because everyone's going to get through this. It's just a matter of time. So might as well equip yourself, educate yourself, inform yourself. So when things get better, you're better equipped to be a better person, better business owner.
Love that. And that is the perfect ending to this amazing podcast. Thank you, John, for coming on.
Thank you so much, Steven.
Thanks everyone for listening and watching. This has been Founders 365.